The room was quiet. Too quiet, the kind of silence that made the human man feel trapped. He opened his eyes slowly. The ceiling above him was white. Smooth and without any cracks, he sat up on the small bed. His head heavy, his memory unclear. He did not know how he had come here. The air was cool, almost too clean. There was no smell of dust, no sign of life. Only the soft hum of something hidden behind the walls. The man stood up carefully, his legs shaking as if he had been asleep for many days. He looked around. The room was simple, with one bed, one table, and nothing else. There were no doors, no windows, only four walls that seemed to shine faintly. Then he noticed her. In the far corner of the room sat a girl. Not a normal girl. She was watching him silently, her eyes wide and strange, glowing faintly like silver moons. Her skin was pale but marked with thin lines of light, almost like stars drawn across her arms. Her hair was dark, falling softly over her shoulders. She did not move. She only looked at him as if she already knew every part of him. The man froze, his heart beating faster. He had not seen her when he first woke up, but now it was clear she had been there all along, watching, waiting. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice dry. The girl tilted her head slightly. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Then slowly she spoke, her voice soft yet sharp. "I know you." The man felt his skin crawl. "You know me, but how?" She did not answer directly. She only smiled, not a smile of kindness, but a smile that hid secrets. "You are Daniel," she said calmly. His chest tightened. He had never told her his name. He had never seen her before. "How do you know that?" he demanded. Stepping back, the girl stood now, her movement smooth, too smooth. As if she was not fully human, she walked closer, her silver eyes never leaving his. "I have always known you," she whispered. "I was waiting for you to wake up." Daniel's mouth went dry, his hands shook, he wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. The walls were solid, glowing faintly, unbreakable. He looked around again, searching for a hidden door, a crack, anything, but the room was perfect. Empty, a cage without a key. He turned back to her. "Where are we? Why am I here?" The alien girl looked at him, her expression unreadable. "This is the place between worlds," she said. "You are here because you were chosen." Daniel shook his head quickly. "Chosen? Chosen for what? I am nobody, just a man." She took another step closer, the faint glow of her skin shining brighter. "To you, maybe you are nobody, but to us? You are everything." His heart raced. His breath quickened. This was madness. None of it made sense. He tried to laugh, to calm himself, but the sound broke in his throat. "This must be a dream, yes." "This is just a dream." The girl only watched him, her silver eyes reflecting his fear. "You will learn," she said. "You will see." Suddenly the room shifted. The walls pulsed like they were alive. Daniel stumbled back, the bed shook. The table moved slightly, though no one touched it. The hum grew louder, deeper, like the voice of something enormous and hidden. Daniel shouted, "What is happening? What is this place?" The girl did not answer. She simply raised her hand and pointed at him. Her glowing marks shined brighter, filling the room with soft light. "It begins now," she whispered, and then came the sound. A faint echo from beyond the walls. Metallic and slow, step by step, something heavy moved outside, something that made the ground tremble slightly. Daniel pressed his back against the wall, fear rising, his mind screaming that this was not safe. The alien girl closed her eyes as if she already knew what was coming. The footsteps grew louder, closer, stopping right outside the invisible wall. Daniel could feel the weight of it. Whatever it was, standing there waiting. He turned to the girl, desperate. "Please tell me, what is out there?" Her eyes opened again, shining brighter than before, and her answer was calm, too calm. "The test," she said. The hum stopped, the silence returned, but the air was heavy, charged with something Daniel could not understand. His life had already changed, though he did not yet know how. Daniel stood frozen in the room, his back pressed against the cold, shining wall, his ears still ringing from the heavy footsteps outside. The silence that followed was almost worse. It wrapped around him like a thick blanket, making it hard to breathe. The alien girl stood calmly in the center of the room, her silver eyes locked on him. She was not afraid, she was not shaking. It was as if she had expected everything. Daniel wanted to shout at her, to demand answers, but the words stuck in his throat. Finally she spoke, her voice soft but clear. "Do not fear them. They are not here for you, not yet." Daniel blinked, confused. "Not here for me? Then who?" he asked, his voice trembling. She tilted her head slightly. "They watch, they listen, they measure," she said. But you are meant for something else. Daniel shook his head, frustration building inside him. Stop speaking in riddles. Just tell me what is happening. Where am I? Why am I here? The girl walked closer. Each step slow and measured, she moved like water. Smooth and without sound, Daniel wanted to step back. But the wall was already behind him. He had nowhere to go. You are in the place between, she said, her silver eyes never blinking. A room not built by human hands, a place where time bends and breaks. You were brought here because you are human, and because humanity must be tested. Daniel's chest tightened. Tested for what? We are just people. We live, we work. We fight, we dream. Why would anyone test us? The girl's expression softened. For the first time there was something almost human in her eyes. Because your kind is dangerous, she whispered. And because your kind is powerful. Daniel laughed nervously, the sound echoing too loudly in the empty room. Dangerous, powerful, you must be talking about someone else. I am just a man, I am nobody. Her gaze sharpened. That is why you were chosen, not because of who you are, but because of what you are. A human with an unbroken spirit. One who can face the truth without turning away. Daniel's heart pounded. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to tell her she was wrong, but something deep inside him knew she was serious. The hum in the walls returned, low and steady. The table in the room shifted again, and this time food appeared. A simple tray with bread, fruit, and water. Daniel's eyes widened. He had not seen any door open. No hand place it there, it was just there. As if the room itself had given it. He turned back to her. What is this place? A prison, a cage? An experiment. She walked past the table and touched the glowing wall with her pale hand. It is all of those, she said. And none of those. It is a mirror, Daniel. A mirror that shows what you truly are. Daniel felt a chill. He did not like the way she spoke. It was as if she was reading him, stripping away his thoughts. You keep saying my name, he said suddenly, his voice sharp. How do you know me? I never told you. I never saw you before. The girl slowly turned to him, her glowing marks shining brighter. I know you because I have watched your kind for longer than you can imagine. I know your name because it was written long before you were born. Daniel. He felt dizzy, his mind screaming that none of this could be real, but his body knew it was, every sound, every light, every word pressed against him, forcing him to believe. The silence stretched between them, heavy and endless. Then Daniel finally asked, What do you want from me? She looked at him for a long time, then answered in a whisper, We want to see if your world can survive. Daniel's mouth went dry. He wanted to ask more, but suddenly the metallic footsteps returned, closer, heavier. The ground shook softly. The glowing walls rippled like water. The girl's silver eyes flicked toward the sound. They are listening, she said, her voice calm. Be careful with your words, for every word is part of the test. Daniel swallowed hard. The air felt heavier. His chest ached with fear. He stared at her, hoping for some kind of comfort, some kind of human warmth. But she was not human, not truly. Why me? He whispered again, desperate. Why not someone smarter, stronger, braver? Her answer came quick, almost cutting, because you are ordinary, and only the ordinary reveal the truth of a people. The footsteps faded once more. Silence returned. The hum of the walls grew softer until it vanished completely. Daniel sank onto the bed, his head in his hands. Nothing made sense, nothing felt safe. The girl moved closer, sitting across from him, her silver eyes never leaving his face. This room has no door, she said. But it is not forever. Soon you will see. Soon you will face what you fear most. Daniel looked up slowly, his eyes red with confusion and fear. And if I fail, he asked, his voice weak. The girl leaned closer, her glowing marks flickering like stars in the dark. Her whisper was soft but carried the weight of 1,000 storms. Then your world will burn. Daniel's body froze. His breath caught in his throat. He could not move. He could not speak. Her words echoed again and again inside his skull. Then the room pulsed once more, and in the wall appeared a ripple. A vision. It was Earth, his Earth, cities he knew, people he loved, all swallowed in flames. Daniel screamed, his voice breaking. No, stop it. Stop. But the alien girl only closed her eyes, whispering again, The test begins soon. Daniel sat on the edge of the bed, his hands gripping the blanket tightly, his eyes still locked on the glowing ripple in the wall. The burning vision of Earth would not leave his mind. The screams, the fire, the endless destruction, all of it felt too real, too close. The alien girl sat quietly across from him, her silver eyes calm, her glowing skin dimmed as if she had pulled back her power. She seemed almost fragile now. But Daniel did not trust her silence. Finally he spoke, his voice broken. Why show me that? Why show me my world burning? Is that supposed to scare me? To break me? The girl shook her head slowly. Not to scare you, to prepare you, she said. What you saw is not a lie, it is a path. A future that may come if you fail. Daniel clenched his fists, anger rising. You talk like you know everything. Like you have all the answers, then tell me. Who are you? What are you really? For the first time her eyes shifted, the calm mask cracked. She looked away as if the question weighed heavy on her. I am not what you think, she said quietly. I am not just a girl, I am a fragment of something larger. A voice of a people who are dying, Daniel frowned, his anger cooling into confusion. Dying? What do you mean dying? She raised her hand. The glowing lines on her skin brightened and the walls of the room rippled again, but this time no fire, no war. Instead, Daniel saw a strange world. Skies painted in violet, oceans black like ink, great towers of crystal rising above vast deserts, and then destruction. Towers falling, oceans boiling, stars dimming in the sky. This was my world, she whispered, her voice shaking now. A world that once thrived with beauty and wisdom. But it is fading, it cannot survive. The core of my people grows weaker each passing cycle. We are running out of time. Daniel's chest tightened. The pain in her voice was real. So what does that have to do with me? With humanity? She looked at him again, her silver eyes burning like molten light. Because your kind holds what we lost. Something inside you burns brighter than anything left in us. We studied your world. We watched from shadows. We saw your wars, your kindness, your endless fight to live, your endless hunger for more. It is dangerous. But it is also powerful. Daniel shook his head. You make us sound like monsters and heroes at the same time. She smiled faintly. Not cruel, but sad. That is exactly what you are. And that is why you must be tested if you survive. You may help us survive if you fail. Then we must erase you before you destroy others like us. Daniel's stomach turned. Erase us, you mean kill us. All of us. The girl closed her eyes. If it comes to that, yes. But it is not what I want. Her voice trembled and Daniel noticed something new. She was not just a messenger, not just a judge. She carried her own burden, her own pain. Then why are you here? Daniel asked. Softer now. Why are you locked in this room with me? Why would they send you? If you are their voice, why risk you like this? She lowered her head, her glowing marks dimming even more. Because I am not only their voice, I am their prisoner too. Daniel's eyes widened. Prisoner, what do you mean? Her lips trembled. She hesitated as if speaking the truth might cost her. I was born different among my kind. I saw your people and I did not want to destroy you. I wanted to understand you, to protect you. That made me weak in their eyes, so they bound me here. Tied my fate to yours. If you pass, I live. If you fail, I die with you. The room fell silent. Daniel stared at her, his anger fading into something else. Something heavier. He had thought she was in control, that she was leading everything, but now he saw the cracks. She looked up again, her silver eyes wet. Do you see now, Daniel? I am not your enemy, I am not your savior. I am only the mirror of your choice. Whatever you decide, it will decide both our fates. Daniel ran his hands through his hair, his mind spinning. This is insane. I never asked for this. I never wanted this. The girl's voice was gentle. Nobody ever does. But the test comes anyway. The hum of the walls returned louder this time. The bed shook. The table rattled. The room seemed alive again. Daniel looked around, fear twisting in his chest. What now? He asked, his voice sharp. She rose to her feet, standing tall though her body trembled slightly. Now the trial begins, she said, her silver eyes glowing brighter. And I cannot help you. I can only watch. Daniel's throat went dry. What trial? What do I have to do? Her voice dropped low, almost a whisper. You will face what you fear most, and only if you endure will you move forward. The walls of the room shifted, rippling into shapes, colors, memories. Daniel gasped as he saw his old home, his childhood street, his mother's face, all forming around him like ghosts. The girl stepped back, fading into the glow. Her last words carried through the trembling air. Remember, Daniel, the trial does not test your strength. It tests your heart. The room dissolved into shadow, and Daniel was left alone, surrounded by memories that were not just memories, but weapons, and the test began. Daniel stood in the middle of the shifting room, The walls no longer white and smooth, but alive with color and shape. The bed and table had disappeared. The alien girl was gone, or at least hidden somewhere beyond the light. He was surrounded now by scenes from his past. His childhood street, the faces of people he once knew, the smell of his old home. Everything looked real, but he knew it was not. It was the trial. His chest tightened, his breath grew shallow. He whispered to himself, "This is not real. This is not real." But his voice trembled, because deep down it felt real, too real. The air grew heavy, and suddenly he was standing in front of his childhood home, the small house with the broken fence, the place where he had once played in the dirt, where his mother used to call him in for dinner. For a moment he felt warmth, safety, but then the sky above darkened, thunder rolled, and the windows of the house cracked. The door creaked open, and from the shadows inside stepped his mother. But something was wrong. Her face was pale, her eyes dark, her smile twisted. "Daniel," she called, her voice echoing unnaturally. "Why did you leave me?" Daniel's heart broke. He knew it was not her. He knew this was a trick, but his knees weakened. "You're not real," he said. But the figure stepped closer, her hand reaching for him. "You forgot me, Daniel. You forgot us all." He stumbled back, shaking his head. "No, I didn't. I didn't forget." But the guilt inside him stirred. Memories of times he had ignored her calls, times he had been too busy, too lost in his own world. The trial was not testing strength. It was cutting into his heart. The shadows grew longer, swallowing the street. The figure of his mother dissolved, and now he stood in a classroom, younger faces around him, children laughing, pointing at him. "You're weak, Daniel," they shouted. "You're nothing." Their voices stabbed into his ears. Echoes of his old fears. He covered his ears. But the voices only grew louder, mocking him, drowning him, until suddenly one of the children stepped forward, holding a mirror. "Look at yourself," the child said. But when Daniel looked, he did not see his reflection. He saw a broken man, tired eyes, heavy shoulders, a man who had failed too many times. Daniel cried out, smashing the mirror with his fist. Shards of glass scattering into the air like stars, the voices vanished, leaving him alone once more. His chest burned. His hand shook, though there was no blood. The alien girl's voice echoed faintly, though she was nowhere to be seen. "The trial is not against the world, Daniel. The trial is against yourself." Daniel clenched his fists, forcing himself to stand tall. "Then I will face it," he whispered, though fear still gripped him. The room shifted again, and now he stood in a battlefield, smoke rising, the smell of fire burning his lungs, broken machines scattered across the ground, and in the distance, human soldiers screaming as alien shadows closed in. Daniel froze. This was not his memory, but it felt like one. A vision of a war that had not yet happened. He ran forward, desperate to help. But no matter how fast he moved, the soldiers fell, one by one, their voices calling his name. "Daniel, save us, Daniel." "Why didn't you save us?" He dropped to his knees, his hands covering his face, tears burning his eyes. I can't save everyone," he cried. The battlefield dissolved, replaced now by a dark void, empty and endless. Daniel stood alone in the darkness. No sound, no sight, only himself, his thoughts echoing louder than any voice. A shape appeared in front of him, his own reflection, but twisted, darker, stronger, the shadow of himself. "You are weak," the shadow said. "You will fail, you will let them all die. Because deep down you don't believe in yourself." Daniel shook his head, backing away. "That's not true." The shadow laughed, a cruel, hollow sound. "You've always run from pain, from responsibility, from truth. You think you're special, but you're ordinary, worthless." Daniel fell to his knees, but then something stirred inside him. Anger not at the shadow, but at himself, at the lies he had believed for so long. He stood again, fists clenched. "No, I am ordinary, but that does not make me worthless. It makes me human." The shadow lunged at him, but Daniel did not run. He stepped forward and embraced it, holding it tightly, his voice steady now. "You are me, and I am you, I am afraid. But I will not let fear control me," the shadow screamed, twisting, breaking apart into smoke. The void shattered like glass, and Daniel was back in the white, glowing room. The alien girl standing there, her silver eyes softer now. "You faced yourself," she said, her voice carrying both pride and sorrow, "and you endured." Daniel fell onto the bed, his body shaking with exhaustion. That was only the beginning, wasn't it?" he whispered. The girl nodded slowly. "Yes, Daniel. That was the first trial, and many more wait for you. Each one harder, each one deeper, until the truth of humanity is revealed. Daniel closed his eyes, his body aching but his spirit burning. He had survived the first trial, but at a cost. He could feel it. Something inside him had been taken, a memory blurred, a piece of his past gone forever. The alien girl stepped closer, her voice soft. Every step forward will take something from you, Daniel. Are you ready to keep walking? He opened his eyes slowly, his voice weak but firm. I don't have a choice, the girl nodded again, the silver glow in her eyes bright. No, you don't. And that is why you may be the one. The hum of the walls returned, louder, deeper. The next trial waiting just beyond the silence. Daniel sat on the edge of the bed, his body trembling from the trial, his skin damp with sweat. Though the air in the strange room was cold and clean, his heart still pounded with echoes of the shadows he had faced. Every whisper, every doubt still lingered in his mind. The alien girl stood nearby, her glowing marks dimmed, her silver eyes fixed on him with unreadable calm. She looked almost fragile, almost human, but Daniel could not shake the thought that she was holding something back. Finally, he broke the silence, his voice low but sharp. You knew what would happen. Didn't you? You knew what I'd see, what I'd lose. Her lips moved slowly. I knew the trial would test you, but I did not know the shape it would take. Daniel narrowed his eyes. That's not true. You always act like you know more. Like you're hiding something. The girl turned away, her hands brushing against the glowing wall. There are things I cannot tell you. Daniel, not yet. His anger grew. Not yet or never. How do I know you're not lying to me? How do I know you're not leading me into a trap? She faced him again, her silver eyes sharp now. If I wanted you to fail, you would already be gone. Her words cut, but Daniel did not back down. Then tell me why I keep losing pieces of myself. Tell me why my memories feel broken. What are you not saying? The girl's face softened for a moment, a flicker of sorrow in her eyes. Every trial demands a price. Daniel, to pass is not to keep, but to let go. That is the law of this place. I cannot change it. Daniel's fists tightened. Then maybe you're not here to help me. Maybe you're just another part of the test. Maybe you're the real prison. The girl's silver eyes flashed, brighter now, almost angry. You think I am your enemy? Then listen, Daniel. I was sent here as a prisoner too, my fate tied to yours. If you fail, I fail. If you die, I die. Do you understand? I gain nothing from your suffering. Her words struck deep. But Daniel's doubt did not vanish. His heart wrestled between trust and fear, between seeing her as an ally and seeing her as another chain. Suddenly the hum in the walls grew louder, sharper. The floor beneath them trembled. Daniel stood quickly, eyes wide. What now? The girl's face turned pale, her marks flickering. They are watching us more closely now. They sense your doubt. They will use it against you. The walls rippled again, and this time Daniel heard voices, not just echoes, but whispers that crawled into his ears. She lies, she lies. She is not with you. She is against you. Daniel covered his ears, shaking his head. Stop it, stop. The girl reached out, her glowing hand almost touching his shoulder. Do not listen. It is the trial of trust. They want to break the bond between us, but Daniel stepped back, his eyes sharp with fear. How do I know you're not the one making those voices? How do I know this isn't part of your plan? The whispers grew louder, twisting, overlapping. She will betray you. She will deliver you to the end. She will kill your world, the alien girl shouted suddenly, her voice strong. Daniel, look at me. He hesitated, his breath fast. But finally his eyes locked with hers. The silver light in her gaze burned into him. I cannot control what they show you, she said. But I can tell you the truth. I chose you. I broke the laws of my people for you, because I saw something in humanity worth saving. I am risking my life for yours if that is betrayal. Then so be it. Daniel's chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. The whispers still circled, but her words cut through them like a blade. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to trust, but doubt was heavy. The room shifted again, and in front of him appeared a vision, a terrifying one. He saw the alien girl speaking in her own tongue, her silver eyes cold, her voice sharp. He is not ready yet, the words echoed. Twisting, making his heart drop, Daniel gasped, stepping back. I heard you say that. You said I'm not ready, that I'll fail. The girl froze, her lips parting in shock. Daniel, listen. That was not me, it was them. A trick. But her hesitation was enough. The seed of doubt dug deeper. Daniel's face hardened. Or maybe it was you. Maybe you've been testing me from the beginning. Her silver eyes flickered with pain. If you cannot trust me, then the trial is already lost, she whispered. The walls pulsed violently, the whispers turning into roars. Daniel pressed his hands to his head. Torn between her words and the visions, his heart tearing in two. The girl stepped closer, her voice breaking now. Daniel, please, I am with you. I have always been with you. Do not let them turn you against me. He looked at her, sweat dripping down his face, his voice cracking. Then prove it. Prove I can trust you. Her silver eyes filled with sorrow. I cannot prove with words. I can only prove with sacrifice. She raised her hand and pressed it against the glowing wall. Her marks burning brighter, and suddenly part of her light broke away, leaving her weaker, smaller, trembling. The room calmed. The whispers faded. Daniel stared at her in shock. What did you do? Her voice was faint now. I gave them part of my essence so they would leave you. So you would see I am not your enemy. I have nothing left to hide. Daniel's chest tightened. Guilt rushing in, he stepped toward her, catching her as she nearly collapsed, her body cold, her light dim. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't know. She smiled faintly, her silver eyes soft. Now you know, Daniel. Trust is not given, it is proven. Daniel held her carefully, his doubts not gone but weakened, replaced by something heavier, something closer to loyalty but deep in his heart. A shadow of suspicion still lingered. The trial of trust was not over, not yet. Daniel sat on the floor of the glowing room, his arms still holding the alien girl, her body weak, her light dim. He could feel how fragile she had become after giving away part of her essence. It was her sacrifice that silenced the whispers, her sacrifice that proved she was not his enemy. And yet the weight on Daniel's chest only grew heavier. He looked down at her. Why would you do that? Why risk yourself for me? Her silver eyes opened slowly, her voice faint but steady. Because without trust there can be no hope. And without hope there can be no future. Daniel swallowed hard. The guilt clawing inside him, he wanted to protect her, but he knew the trials were not over. He knew something worse was waiting. The hum in the walls returned, deeper than before, shaking the floor beneath them. The room grew brighter, the walls rippling like water, the air growing heavy, and a voice filled the chamber. Not the girl's voice, not Daniel's, but something vast and endless, human. The voice boomed. You have walked through shadow. You have faced yourself. You have tasted doubt and trust. Now you stand at the edge of the final choice. Daniel stood slowly. His body trembling, he shouted into the air. Show yourself. Stop hiding behind walls and trials. Tell me what this is really about. The voice shook the room again. You demand answers. But answers are not given. They are earned. Your kind has spread across your world, building, destroying, creating, consuming. You are fire, and fire either warms or burns. You will decide what humanity becomes. The alien girl struggled to stand. Daniel helped her to her feet, her silver eyes locked on the glowing walls. She whispered, This is the council, the ones who rule my people. They decide the fate of worlds. Daniel's stomach twisted. And they want me to decide for mine. The voice thundered again. Humanity stands at the line. One path leads to survival. One path leads to destruction. You must prove if your species deserves to live, and you must choose with your heart. The walls dissolved into visions. Earth appeared before him. Oceans, forests, cities, people living their lives, laughter, love, anger, war, beauty and pain all woven together. Daniel's chest ached as he saw his home. Then the visions twisted, earth burning, oceans boiling, cities collapsing into ash. Billions of lives gone in moments. Daniel fell to his knees. Stop, please, stop. The alien girl touched his shoulder gently. Daniel, listen, this is the truth. If you fail here, they will erase your world. They will not give it another chance. Daniel's heart pounded. So what do I have to do? How do I prove we deserve to live? The voice answered, calm but merciless. With sacrifice, with choice. Humanity's future rests on what you will surrender and what you will keep. The room shifted, and suddenly two paths appeared before him. One glowing with golden light, the other dark with shadows. The golden path showed his own life, his freedom. A door opening to earth. His memories, his family, his body returned home. He could live again, safe and whole. The dark path showed humanity. Billions of lives, the survival of his people. But in that path, Daniel was gone. Erased, no return, no home. He would be the price paid for their future. Daniel's throat went dry. The choice was clear, one path for himself. One path for his entire species. The alien girl's voice broke the silence. Daniel, this is what they always wanted, to see if one human could put the many before himself. If one ordinary man could carry the weight of the world. I cannot tell you which to choose, but know this. Whichever you pick will shape the fate of both our peoples. Daniel stared at the paths. His chest heavy, his eyes burning, he whispered, If I save myself, humanity dies. If I save humanity, I die, the girl nodded slowly. Yes, and more than that, your choice will decide what my people do. If you choose sacrifice, they will spare Earth, they will turn away. But if you choose yourself, they will invade, and Earth will fall. Daniel turned to her, his voice breaking. This isn't fair, I never asked for this. I never wanted to decide something so big. Her silver eyes softened. Nobody ever wants such a burden, Daniel. But history is always written by those who accept it. This is the weight of being human, to stand at the edge of everything and still make a choice. The room trembled, the golden and dark paths glowing brighter, the council's voice booming again. Choose, human, choose now, or all will be decided for you. Daniel closed his eyes, his hands shaking. Images of his family flashed in his mind, his mother's smile, his friends, the streets of his city, then images of strangers, billions of faces he had never seen, lives he would never know, and yet their survival depended on him. Tears slid down his cheeks. He whispered, I'm afraid. I don't want to die. The alien girl stepped closer, her hand resting on his arm, her voice soft. Fear makes you human, Daniel, but courage makes you more. What you choose now will echo forever. Daniel opened his eyes, staring at the paths again, his breath steadying, his fear still there but no longer in control. He knew what had to be done. He stepped toward the dark path, his voice steady. If my life is the price, then let it be paid. Humanity must live. The golden path flickered and vanished. The dark path burned brighter. The council's voice thundered, shaking the very air. The human chooses sacrifice. The human proves his kind is worthy. The alien girl gasped softly, her silver eyes shining. Daniel, you did it. You chose for them all. Daniel felt his body grow lighter, as if fading, the room dissolving around him. The girl's face, the last thing he saw, her expression filled with sorrow and pride. The voice of the council echoed one last time. So it is done, so it is decided. Humanity will live. Darkness closed around him, and Daniel's life slipped away. Daniel felt himself slipping away, his body fading like smoke in the air. The white room around him dissolved into darkness, the golden hum of the walls gone. The only sound left was the faint rhythm of his own heartbeat. Weaker and weaker, he thought it was the end, the last moment of his life. But then a soft voice called out, gentle and clear, Daniel. His eyes opened, and before him stood the alien girl, her silver eyes glowing brighter than ever, her marks shining with new light. She looked stronger, no longer fragile, her body filled with energy. Daniel's voice trembled. I thought I was gone. She stepped closer, her gaze soft. You chose sacrifice, Daniel. And in that choice, you passed the final test. You proved what it means to be human. Daniel blinked, his breath heavy. So, is this death? The girl shook her head slowly. No, it is something more. You were willing to give your life. And that willingness changed everything. The council saw it, my people saw it. They will not invade your world. They will not burn your earth. They will step back, because one human showed them what humanity truly is. Daniel's heart stirred, relief filling his chest. So Earth is safe. Her silver eyes shimmered. Yes, Earth is safe. For now. His body felt lighter, almost transparent. He could see his hands fading again. Panic flickered in him. Then what about me? What happens to me now? The girl's face grew serious, her voice steady. That is the part I cannot change, Daniel. The price of sacrifice cannot be erased, but it can be honored. Daniel nodded weakly, his lips curling into a faint smile. If my life means my world survives, then it was worth it. For the first time, her calm mask broke. Tears welled in her glowing eyes, a sight that felt more human than anything she had shown before. You are not supposed to move me, she whispered. But you did. You reminded me why I defied my people, why I believed in humanity, and now your choice has freed me as well. Daniel frowned softly. Freed you? She nodded. Yes, I was bound to this room, to this trial, until a human proved their heart. Now that bond is broken, I can return to my world. But I will carry your mark with me, and I will speak your name among my kind. Daniel's chest warmed. though his body grew weaker. Then maybe my life won't be forgotten. Maybe it will matter. Her silver eyes shone like liquid stars. It already matters more than you know. The darkness around them shifted, and suddenly Daniel felt himself falling. Not down but through, as if the ground had opened. The alien girl's voice echoed as her figure faded. "Remember, Daniel, this was only the beginning," he gasped. And his eyes flew open. He was lying on grass. Real grass under a blue sky. The smell of earth and wind filling his lungs. He sat up quickly, his heart racing. He was back on Earth in a park he knew. People walked nearby, unaware, laughing, living. Nothing burned, nothing broken. Daniel touched his face, his chest, his body felt real. Alive. He was not dead, but something was different. He looked down at his wrist, and there it was. A faint glowing mark, the same silver pattern that had once run across the alien girl's skin. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat. His mind spun. Was it real? Was she real? Or was it all a dream? But deep inside, he knew the truth. He knew it had happened. The mark was proof. He stood slowly, watching the people around him. Children playing, families laughing, strangers passing by, and for the first time in his life, Daniel felt the weight of all of them, the weight of being human. He had carried their fate. He had chosen for them all, and they would never know. A soft wind brushed against his skin, and in it he thought he heard a whisper. Her voice. "I am still watching. Daniel." He smiled faintly, his heart heavy but steady. "Then I won't waste this life. I'll live for them. For all of us." The mark on his wrist glowed once more, and then faded into his skin, hidden but not gone, a reminder that the trials had changed him forever. Daniel walked out of the park, blending into the crowd. An ordinary man again, but no longer the same. He had faced himself. He had faced fear. He had chosen sacrifice, and in doing so, he had saved his world. But as he disappeared into the streets of his city, far away in a sky no human could yet reach, silver eyes watched him through the stars. Eyes that belonged to a girl who once shared a room with him. Eyes that carried his story into the hearts of her people, and somewhere deep inside that endless cosmos, forces stirred ancient and vast, for though the trial had ended, the war for the future of humanity had only just begun.